All right. So I just set it to live on YouTube. So unfortunately, I'm gonna give 2 more minutes and then we'll start. Just for those that are on YouTube, if they want to chime in on this thing, they can. Alrighty. I hope y'all are doing well. Where y'all from? Sharon, what's today's topic? Basically, a lot of folks, I've been getting a bunch of messages in my inbox. Folks wanted to know if it's still a good idea to move to Mexico. We're getting a lot of folks that have started to second guess themselves. I saw a couple of guys and a few other forums wondering if they made the right decision to move. Some folks had already started selling the homes and making plans to come here. And after they saw what happened, they started second guessing themselves on whether or not it was a good idea or a bad idea to move here. So I wanted to talk about that, just kind of give my perspective and feedback on what in the world do you got on? Good Lord. Stop. I've never seen that thing. My Lord. How you doing, Miss Tanya? From London. David from Brooklyn. Tanya, I haven't tried that recipe yet that you posted a couple of weeks ago. I got it. My daughter likes to cook, so I'm gonna hand it off. What in the world, girl? Man, you blinded me with that robe on. My goodness. Naples. Yeah, Naples is a real nice spot, right? One of my favorite places. Super, super expensive out of those parts. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Tanya. So yeah, Sharon, that's what I wanted to address. I don't think folks should change their minds or change their plans. Things happen everywhere. That was just one of the um, unfortunate situation that could go south anywhere. And also, I mean, there's local customs and local laws and local procedures that we just have to get used to as foreigners coming into a new country. So 1 more minute and then I'll go ahead and start. Man, with that robe on, you need to stay out of this frame. Yeah, that's it. No, I never seen you wear that old
because I have my
shower curtain.
And I'm coming in here and I want to be covered up because I know I'm going to be right in the video.
Yeah, that's what it is, Kathy. She trying to let them viewers know. I know that's how she do.
What? What was that? What did you say?
Hey.
Well, you should have said anything.
That's what she trying to do. Let folks know she up in here. I know how they do. I got them all peeped out. Cause see, when the video wasn't running, she wouldn't know where to be found. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing good, Resh. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, all right now. You already know how I roll. So all right, 130 more seconds and we'll get this thing going. I'm sorry to be dragging this out, y'all. I promise I'm gonna do a practice run on this software. Next time I'll run right into this thing. And so just learning. All right, we got more people on board. All right, so today's topic, really, a lot of folks have been inquiring and sending me messages. I'm also streaming on YouTube. YouTube, I'm gonna post this link here. YouTube.com/move abroad and thrive. That's the channel. If you're not subscribed to that channel, please go ahead and subscribe to that channel. And it will, you can imagine you can watch it from there. So we're streaming on YouTube, streaming on Facebook. Next time we'll be streaming live on Instagram as well and LinkedIn as well. And good. So I think we're straight. All right. So I mentioned, hey, I'm Cartels, Move Abroad and Thrive. Just wanted to share. I've been getting a lot of questions from people who are inquiring about whether or not it's still a good idea to move to Mexico um, after my arrest, I guess. A lot of people are saying, hey, if you were arrested, you seem like a nice guy and a handsome guy. If you are arrested, then hey, it's we could get arrested, and we're not trying to get arrested. And I don't know if it's a good idea. There were some other guys on some other forums that posted that they had already sold their home, had already made plans to be moving down, and they started to kind of second guess themselves. And so, and a bunch of other questions as well that I wanted to talk about and address that other people have said. But that's been the primary ones. Is it still safe and a good idea to come to Mexico? Since I've been arrested, my perception on this place has not changed one bit. I have no animosity or fear or any doubts about being here. It's going to take a whole lot more than going to jail for 2 days to run me out of Mexico. I mean, the benefits here far outweigh the loss of those 2 days. And and there's so many benefits to being here. There's so much good to being here, but every now and again you will get some bad. And for me, that day was just a bad day and a bad experience. But does that mean I need to pack up, leave, go home, run, hide, or go elsewhere? Absolutely not. Bad. You're going to have to take some of the bad, just like we're all willing to take all the good. We're going to have to take some of the bad. At the end of the day, I am the one, Cartel Ross. I'm the guy who walked into a gate and I opened it and went on the inside. And according to local customs and local laws, that's against the law. These are customs and things that the locals are all aware of. They know that this is not what you do. You don't go onto anybody's property. It's an extension of their home. You do not go through their gate without permission. And, as foreigners, when we move to a new place, it becomes our responsibility to get to know what these local laws are and what some of the local customs are. Some of these things we'll figure out on our own and we'll learn as time go by. And then other things we'll learn from experience, just like this moment that I had to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? Nonetheless, this is their norm. This is how they do things here. Getting arrested and being in jail for 2 days while they did the investigation, that is their norm. You know what I mean? I get that the United States, you often hear people say, well, they don't do that in the United States. You got rights in the United States. Unfortunately, we're not in the United States. When you make a decision to move to a foreign country, a lot of the stuff that is the standard in the United States no longer applies. That 48 hours in jail here while they investigate, that is the norm. That is the standard. You know what I mean? Not going through somebody's gate, is it making that illegal? That is the norm. That is their standard. You know what I mean? So when we make a decision to move somewhere else, we have to adapt. This is just another step in what I would consider the assimilation process, assimilating into local society, where we start to understand their customs, their ways, their values, the way they do things. And so that's how I took it. I'm not mad, because if I had known, I wouldn't have done it. However, now that I know that, I now recognize when people now come to my home. In my other place, we had a big gate. There was like 7 houses inside of this Pravada, is what they call it, this big wall. And behind the wall and behind the gate, there were 7 townhouses. Nobody dared come through that gate. The delivery guys, there's a service that we use here called Rappi, and they deliver food or whatever you order, they bring it to your house. Even when the gate is open, and I've noticed this, but it never clicked because nobody really ever explained it to me. Even though the gate is open, them guys won't come through that gate. And I'm like, man, I gotta get up and walk all the way up to that gate. You won't bring this to my door? they will not come through that gate without permission. Even when the pool guy come to my house to clean my swimming pool, when the internet guys come by to fix the internet, when they come into the house, what do they always say? Think about what these folks say when they come to your house. They always say permiso, meaning permission. Do I have permission to come in? Do I have permission to proceed? Every person that comes to my door, they always say that permiso, permiso, permiso. Again, it didn't mean much to me then. Now it makes sense. There are some guys, like the water guy, the guys who deliver water, they won't even knock on my door. So many of the houses, they have these little air vents. And, they stand by the vent, they can yell into the house and you can hear them. And so oftentimes, some of these guys, they won't even knock on the door. They'll yell through that vent, amigo, or they'll say something else, some other word in Spanish that I don't know what it means. But they will yell through that vent to get my attention to come down. They won't even knock on the door. And so somebody was telling me a story the other day about police. Somebody had called the police and they were trying to, I don't know what the crime was. I don't think it was a violent crime or anything like that. But they were trying to get access to a child who was in the house. The police stood outside the gate, would not go past that gate until somebody came and opened that gate. You know what I mean? Even when they were called to the house. So I imagine under extreme circumstances, they probably will, but they were hanging around that gate until somebody opened up that gate or gave them the go ahead and we get through that gate. So that's how. So what I did was really a serious thing. It was a serious violation of one's privacy. Now again, when you explain the story and and explain why I went through the gate and how I ended up there, most people will understand and will be most forgiving. My doctor gave me an example today. Another doctor came by the house for the wife, and she was telling him what happened. And his thing was, even sometimes he go up in the wrong house, and he generally always have to explain who he is. And once he explained who he is, hey, I'm Doctor Such and Such, they generally don't, he generally don't get it bad. But he's got a few tongue lashes for crossing into other folks' house. So again, these are things when you make this move here, this is part of the assimilation process. If we're not willing to assimilate and accept the local customs along with their laws that may not be like ours, then you probably shouldn't even waste your time moving to a foreign country, not just Mexico, anywhere, because everywhere the rules are different, the laws are different, the legal process is going to be different. It's going to be different. You know what I mean? So if you're not willing to accept the bad that comes along with more of the good, might as well go. I find that most people will tend to look for an excuse, look for reasons to leave. And as soon as something bad happens, that's the justification that they need to go. And and when you come with that mindset, you're going to always find something. So the other thing is folks have asked is, do I think I was profiled because I was Black? I don't believe this had anything to do with race. I don't believe this had anything to do with me being Black. Again, at the end of the day, I went through somebody's gate and onto their property. And in this case, it would appear that the young girl, who was probably between the ages of 10 to 14, was home by herself. Now imagine a 10-year-old girl, your 10-year-old child, daughter, at home by herself, and some dude come knocking on the door. What do you think? She's gonna be scared. She's gonna call her mom, she's gonna call her dad. Hey mom, there's this guy standing outside the door, knocking on the door, speaking a language that I'm unfamiliar with. Because see, remember, I'm the foreigner. I'm the dude at their door after violating their gate, knocking at their door, speaking in English. I'm the foreigner talking in the unknown tongue to this girl through the door. And, and because I'm saying, no hablo español, I'm saying lo siento, and I'm saying, hey, I'm sorry, I'm at the wrong house. I'm speaking two languages. You know what I'm saying? English and broken Spanish. So, and I mentioned, and I've always said, you know, even in the very first video, I could tell that the girl was terrified. I could tell that the girl was nervous. I could tell she was scared. I heard it in her voice. You know, so when she called mom and dad, I imagine they calling the police. Get somebody to my house. There's this man outside my daughter's outside our house. He went through our gate. He breached our gate. We're not even home. We didn't even give this guy permission to be there. He breached our gate. You know, and again, this is a big thing here in Mexico, breaching somebody's gate. You know what I'm saying? And so, was it because I was black? No, because a lot of folks have commented and sent messages saying if you were a different color, it would have went down differently. I don't know if it would have went down differently or not. All I know is I activated the situation when I went through that gate. Mom and dad, and I'm assuming they weren't home. Mom and dad probably shouldn't have left a 10-year-old at home. You know, we all do stuff. And, you know, so all of these things were set in motion when I went across that gate. So race, obviously when the police get there and they say, hey, can you describe this guy? Yeah, big guy, 6 feet, black guy. I mean, what other description are you going to give him? I'm probably the only black guy within a 50-mile radius in that moment. You know what I mean? It's an easy description to give to the guy who was at your door. I mean, what else? What are you gonna say? He's 6'1", wearing a blue shirt. No, the first thing you're gonna notice is a 6'1" black guy. I don't know if he's from America, Haiti, Colombia, or some other part of Mexico. He's a 6-foot black guy knocking at my door. So I don't think this had anything to do with race. I think, you know, this was just an unfortunate incident. Most agree, as well as the police, that had it been somebody else's house, it would have went down like this. I just unfortunately got lucky and was at somebody's house who, for whatever reasons unknown to me, wanted to push this issue and had a concern. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. And it is what it is. So it's so race, I don't think is the issue. I have not had any incidents or concerns or issues with ethnicity since I've been here. Not to say that it don't happen, but it's been all good. So does this change my perspective about living in Mexico? Absolutely not. Does it change my perspective about being in Merida? Absolutely not. There's more pros than cons. And that's why it's very important that you understand your why and know your why. Why are you here? Again, most people will up and go because they really don't have any, they don't really have their goals solidified and mapped out and outlined. They don't have a plan. They don't have if you don't have a plan, you'll blow with the wind. My goal here is to, and I've shared this many times, I've done a poor job planning and saving for retirement. So, you know, I'll be 48 years old in 2 more days. So 2 years shy of 50 years old. And when I turn 65, that's about 15 years from now, around, you know, for 17 years to be exact. You know, I figured these next 15 years, I got to play my cards right. I can move to a place that will allow me to drastically cut my expenses without losing out on the quality of life. In fact, quality of life actually improved, while my expenses drastically dropped, so that I could use those savings to, one, start planning better and saving for retirement, investing in some other things towards retirement, and to kind of get my coins together for retirement and potentially put myself in a position to buy a house that's paid off prior to the 15 years coming. You know what I mean? So that's my goal. Now that I have my goals, I'm not going to allow anything to get in the way that will prevent me from achieving those goals. 2 days in the jail over a misunderstanding. Am I really going to pack up and run? break camp, and throw away my goals because of an unfortunate circumstance. I had worse 2 days in the United States. When I look over the last 12 months in any given year, I'll have more than 2 bad days. But it happens. That's what I'm saying. This can happen anywhere you at. You know what I mean? Folk walk down the street in the US, get shot, get called all kinds of names, get hit by cars because somebody's angry. Do you see these families and people packing up and running out of the United States and I'm leaving the United States because something bad happened? No. No, my wife's brother was killed some years ago. Ain't nobody talking about I'm leaving the United States because this thing happened. So why would you do it when you come here? Again, it's all about perspective. I accepted my part in going through that gate. Now, obviously, I didn't want to be in jail, but hey, that's the way they do things here. If I'm willing to live with how they do things here, then hey, I stay. I'm okay with it. You know what I mean? I don't anticipate going back to jail ever again. You know what I mean? Unless I break some other unknown rule, which you can best believe now that I'm studying more and learning more about local rules and local customs and local laws, so that I am aware of local traditions and local customs, so I don't do that again. And this time around, I mentioned getting a law firm on retainer, so that way if I do get in trouble unknowingly, I'll have somebody I can call and take care of it. So preventive. So anyhow, that's really all I wanted to say. If y'all have any questions, feel free to post your comments. Are you there, Naomi? I think you got your mute button on. Post a comment. I'm gonna post a link here in the chat box. And if you have any questions or if you have comments, if you just want to share your experience or feedback, click on that link that I just posted, and we'll bring you up to ask and share whatever questions you have. Naomi, it looks like I got you up, but it looks like your mute button is on. Turn off the mute button and we can get you up and going. So let's see here. So if you have any questions, again.
You asked me.
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. How you doing?
Hey, Cortez. I'm doing great. Look, first of all, let me say thank you for putting out all of the wonderful, wonderful videos. My husband and I have been watching your videos over the last few months. We are in the whole research stage of relocating from Mississippi to Mexico.
My hometown, Mississippi.
You from Mississippi? What part of Mississippi?
Mound Bayou in the
Mount
Delta.
Bayou. Oh my goodness. Yes. My husband just said that explains everything then. Oh, wonderful. Look, I'm so glad you have been very transparent about this ordeal, and you have been calm with it. You was not frazzled, and that it can ease a lot of nerves. So, yes. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. When are y'all looking to make your transition abroad?
Well, we're going to do it in phases. Next year, we're talking about at the beginning of the year coming for about 2 or 3 months, then coming back home, and then around October, November, coming at least staying for 6 months at a time.
Okay. Wow. That sounds like a good plan.
Yes.
Good. Well, did you have any particular questions or anything that y'all come across or in your research? And
Any particular questions we have? Now, the one thing about it, that I've been doing a lot of research. We're bringing our puppy with us, so getting him across there and back, and all of that. We've been trying to figure out what airline is the best and everything. Um,
You say your
and
puppy?
yes,
Okay. I personally don't know, but you know what? I've been getting a lot of questions about that. I have met quite a few expats that are here with pets, so I'm making a note right now.
okay,
Um, I will find out information on that. In fact, there's one or two people that I could probably talk to and bring them up on a live chat another day and address those questions directly.
okay, that'd be great.
So I appreciate that comment. So I'll that's on my list for that's definitely on my list.
Yes, and then the whole other thing is the banking situation, trying to work all of that out as well. So,
Okay, okay. And in terms of banking, I do have I do have a local bank account here. I have not used it at all since setting it up. I currently bank with a credit union back in the U.S., whereby they waive all my international fees and charges. I don't pay any ATM fees or anything like that. Because what happened if you go to a restaurant or go to the grocery store here and you swipe that card, some of your banks might charge you a fee for each transaction. So you might see a
yes,
35-cent fee on your with each transaction on your bank statement. So, definitely investigate your bank to find out if they do charge international fees or not. So many credit unions won't. I know some of the larger banks like Chase or Schwab tend not to as well. And but I'll definitely, and again, I just made a note as well. I'll most likely talk to somebody who works at a bank and get them here to discuss the pros and cons of having a bank account locally versus not having one.
yes. Well, thank you so much, and God bless you and your family.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. When y'all get here, definitely reach out to me,
Oh
man.
yeah, look, we're gonna definitely reach out to you before we come, so
Okay,
and do a
that sounds
private
good.
section. So,
It'd be good to sit down and eat with some fellow Mississippians.
oh yeah.
So thank you so much. I
All right.
appreciate you and hope to meet y'all soon.
Yes. Thank
Thank
you. Good night.
you. Well, good night. All righty. So I'm gonna put a link here if you'd like to come up and ask questions or share experiences. Please do so. I'm gonna scroll through here and see. Delta, Delta, Delta. Yes, yes. Fatima, Delta in the house. Sherry from Gulfport, Mississippi. Let's see here. I'm just scrolling through, seeing if there's any questions. Yeah, somebody suggested, I'm just reading a comment, maybe you could have offered 100 US dollars for the inconvenience. That might have helped. Agreed. Unfortunately, I didn't, don't know enough Spanish. And, somebody else, another friend of mine, Miss Mo, said the same thing. Um, that offering a little compensation might have eliminated the situation altogether. And next time I know I'll be able to get somebody on the phone and say, "Hey, let's work something out." And so yeah. Um, and again, if you have questions, I just posted a link inside. Feel free to click on it. It'll bring you up, and you can chit chat. This is somebody saying, my brother lives in Playa del Carmen and has lived in Mexico for 20 years. I told him about your experience and shared your video. He was shocked as well. I think your experience was a fluke. I agree with that. I mean, like I say, the police were fantastic. They tried to talk the lady down. They weren't quick to try and rush me off to jail. They really took the time. We were literally outside for about 3, 4 hours. Um, were trying to bring it down. They were trying to reason with the young lady and just trying to break it down, de-escalate it, but it just didn't work out. So like I say, it could have gone a different way. In the United States, everybody got guns. You walk on somebody's property, they can shoot you. And they might drag you in the house to make it look like a more justifiable shooting, but you know, it could have definitely gone the other way. But I'm grateful it did. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Hart? DD Hart?
Hey, what's going on? How you doing?
Doing well, doing well. What's your name?
It's Daryl,
Daryl. How you doing, Daryl?
and I'm good. But I'm so happy for you after what you went through. You've been soured on your experience in Mexico, but you didn't. You were the bigger man, and you stayed strong, and it just gives me hope because I want to do what you're doing someday.
Awesome. Thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. I think there's crazy folks everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And I should, I may rephrase that. I shouldn't call a lady crazy. Crazy. Abnormal situations occur and happen everywhere. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? It's really how we respond to those situations. It would be easier to just up and go and say, "Hey, I'm gonna leave this alone and run out of this country." But man, I'll lose too much by leaving. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I did all my research, I, and I mapped out a plan, and I determined this is the best place to be in this moment. You know what I
okay,
mean? And to allow a situation like that to run me off, I would be the only loser in this situation. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
Um,
you.
so were you thinking about going? Mexico, or is there another
I,
country you're looking at?
I'm a Mexico City type of guy. I'm a big city guy, even though right now I'm in Midland, Texas. I'm on the,
Uh,
but the thing is, I want to start in Mexico City, and eventually I want to work all the way around the country. But my thing is to come into Mexico City first, and then bust all over the country.
uh-huh.
And although I'm a little ways away from that, I'm working on my Spanish right now. I've been studying
Okay.
Spanish for the last year, and it's not easy. But I'm doing better. It's like English. You have to study it every day in order to get
Amen.
important. So I'm glad to see that you're working on your Spanish and getting better. And I just wanted to compliment you on how you handled that situation. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I've never been locked up in a state, so I don't know how I would handle it abroad. And I love the title. Guys, I watched the National Geographic show Locked Up
Uh-huh.
Abroad, and when I
Yeah.
see that Locked Up Abroad bed in Mexico, I fell out laughing. I said, "That dude right."
You know, I was in my cell, my jail cell, and there were many times I just busted out laughing. And it was because I'm about to be 48 years old, and I've never ever been in jail. And I'm like,
Okay.
the first time I go to jail, it has to be in Mexico. I mean, I just busted out laughing so many times at that. And I'm
Mhm.
like, I keep hearing about how good the jails are in the US, and then I end up in the Mexican jail, and it's like the complete opposite. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? But yeah, I mean I was in there for 2.5 days. I probably needed those 2.5 days. I didn't know I needed those 2.5 days. Sometimes you just gotta sit alone by yourself with just you and your thoughts, and you start to put some things in perspectives, and you start to get some clarity. And I needed those 2.5 days. Sometimes I think God know what He's doing when we don't know what we doing. You know what I'm saying?
You better preach.
You know, you
But
know.
it was so good. I enjoy seeing you, especially when your wife comes sit next to you and everything, and how she brought you food and everything. That was just awesome, man. And some days I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to study Spanish, but when I see your situation, it made me want to study hard because I say I got to get down there and check it out because I know there's something better out there.
It definitely is. It definitely is. And there's probably a lot more English speakers in Mexico City, which is one reason why I do like Merida better compared to
Okay.
Colombia, because in Colombia there were few English speakers. So you had to know your Spanish, or you had to be on a path to learning that Spanish. Here, it tends to be a little more forgiving because there's generally a lot more English speakers here. Somebody's around that can bail you out. And so I know that'll be the case in Mexico City, where there's gonna be a lot more English speakers and a lot more people to help bail you out if you find yourself in a situation. So Mexico City is probably the best place to learn Spanish because you can make your mistakes and get the help.
I won't be heading that way till summer anyway, because I'm still in working, still I work in a school, so I ain't heading that way till the summer. So I got plenty of time to get myself together on that.
There
So
you
hopefully I
go.
get a little better. So I like seeing you and the other people who are down there because it just gives me hope, just
Absolutely.
gives me hope. So I ain't in no hurry. It's gonna be there, and if I don't make it, well, at least I'm gonna die trying.
Hey, that's the mindset to have right there. That's the mindset to have. When you make your way down to Merida, reach out to me, man. I'd love to have some lunch with you, and we can sit down and chat, exchange some stories, and you'd have a grander time.
That's the deal.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for coming up, Daryl. Appreciate you. Thank you for your support. You have a good night.
Thank you for having me on. You too.
Thank you. All right, folks. You can posted a link down here in the comments if you'd like to come up, share your experiences, or if you have any comments or any suggestions. Please come on and we'll bring you up on the platform. Um, See, these jokers here, these jokers, they be making these comments. Now, remember when I was saying I was describing myself, 6 foot black guy, 6 foot tall, knocking at my door. That guy said he added it and a bit overweight. You know, these are the kind of comments that you're gonna get. Folk gonna make fun, they gonna poke fun at you, they gonna point at you, they gonna laugh at you. You can't let this get under your skin. Because I talk to folks all the time and try and suggest that they set up a YouTube channel, set up, create a following on Facebook, start sharing your passions, start sharing your adventures, start talking about and sharing the things you love. But the number one fear that most people have is the criticism that they might get from people that are watching, people that are sitting behind a keyboard and an internet connection, pretending like they're big guys, big shots. But in reality, they just run their chops. You know what I'm saying? So, but you can't let folks like this stop you. You got to move forward. Unfortunately, it's part of the process. You're gonna get criticism, and no matter what, you can be talking about the good, somebody gonna have something to say. That's why it's always best just to pick your position and run with it and go, regardless of what the other side thinks. And think about it. Half the world, half the population hated Trump, but guess what? He got elected president because the other half absolutely loved him. And that's at the end of the day, that's the only thing you can really be concerned about when building a tribe is your folks, the people that your message is for. My message really is to show folks that hey, there's another way to live your life without the struggle. Particularly for those that are inching towards retirement or that are at retirement and they need to make their money stretch. There's another way. And so that's my message out. That's my message, just to get that out. There are other places in the world that you can live while still maintaining the quality of life that you had in the United States without giving up too much of the luxuries. In fact, you probably get more luxuries. Like for us, we have a housekeeper that comes to the house. We're probably going to increase the number of times that she comes. I'm learning of a new chef here in this particular area that will come by and prep meals a couple of days a week. I can go out and get more margaritas more often because they're much cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So you could get a house with a pool. The guy comes cleans your pool each week, $6. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot more luxuries and benefits that you get that where it's much more affordable, you can afford it, and because the cost of living is so much less here, your retirement just can take you so much further. So that's my message to folks, is that there's another way. So what is the message that you have? What is the passion that you have? What is the thing that you enjoy doing? What is the thing that you like to do? You know what I mean? And that's why I suggest set up a YouTube channel. Get on there and just start talking about that stuff. You know, my very first course, and I don't mean to be changing the topic or jumping places, but my very first course, well, one of my very first course was a course where I taught people how to turn their t-shirt ideas into a t-shirt business. I had great success selling t-shirts on the internet 23 years ago. Matter of fact, 21 years ago, when the internet was brand new, we sold a bunch of shirts. Was very successful at that. And so years later, I ended up creating a course teaching people how to start their own t-shirt business. That was my passion at the time. You know what I mean? Just share. So in the act of sharing how to do that, I was able to build a full-blown business out of that simply by posting videos on YouTube. My ebook, my courses, just from that one course alone, reached in the $4 million range just for the courses. That does not include partnerships that I had with other manufacturers and brands and manufacturers of equipment as it relates to that in the t-shirt industry. That doesn't include influencer partnerships, income that I earn. That doesn't include income I earned from Google's AdSense program, the advertising platform. So that's why I say you just got to start, because the bulk of the revenue came because of the videos that I had on YouTube, directing people back to my site, directing people to my courses. But I put all that information on YouTube. I had a YouTube channel. So that's what I'm suggesting you to do. It doesn't cost you anything. It's free. If you like to make smoothies, if you like to make juices, get on there and start making them juices, showing people how to make it, and just have fun. Drink it, show your recipes. Now, yeah, there's a lot of other folks out there that are making smoothies and juices, but you can't worry about them folks. All you can do is worry about yourself, because there's going to be a certain group of folks who's going to follow you, that's going to want your experience, your expertise. They want to follow the way you make your juices. You know what I mean? So this applies to anything. If you have a dog, an English Mastiff, and you train your dog, guess what? There are other people out there that have English Mastiffs. And if you have a platform where you showing people how to train their English Mastiff, guess what? They'll buy your stuff and learn from you. So that is that. I'll stop rambling on that. I'm gonna post again. If you have any questions, click on the link and I'll bring you up. And are you okay? I'm assuming you didn't get COVID. Yeah, I did. I was tested. I had a doctor come by the house yesterday. He tested me for COVID. Test came back negative. However, I'm going to get tested again probably on Friday just to be on the safe side. A guy here by the name of Rod posted that his friend tested negative yesterday for COVID, but tested positive today with the same symptoms that I had. You know what I mean? So I'm going to test. I'm going to get another test again just to make sure I'm on the up and up. And because I was feeling fine today. I mean, I walked down the road. You know, I want to get some fresh air. And when I got back home, man, I was just sick, nauseated, started sweating, and got cold again. That's why I got my hat on. And, you know, so it is what it is. But yeah, whatever I got, I know I got it from jail. My throat, my throat started getting sore when I was in jail. And I thought it was because I didn't have my sleep apnea machine. And I use a sleep apnea machine at night, try to help keep my airway open, keep me from snoring. And so when I didn't have my machine, I assumed that the hard snoring agitated my throat when I woke up the following morning. So I thought that's what that was. Exploring the Bella Noche. You strike me as someone who want to try moving to Africa. I do plan to make my way to Africa at some point. And that's the name of the channel, the name of my business, Move Abroad and Thrive. Want to travel to different countries, stay there in different places, see which countries offer the opportunity where one can live for significantly less without sacrificing the quality of life. So Africa is on my list. I will at some point sooner than later get there. I have two daughters that are here with me, and they got about 4 more years of school. And once they're freed up, I will definitely most likely be all over the place at that point. Never intended to be in Merida this long, but we ended up finding a great ballet dance program for my daughter, and pretty intensive program. She loves it and wishes to be here and wishes to pursue a career in dance, or definitely she wants to go to college for dance. So the opportunity here seemed too great to just up and go, because it wasn't meant. It was never intended to stay here. The longest I would have stayed here probably is 6 months, and we would have been on somewhere else to the next country. Thus the name Move Abroad and Thrive. Yep, Mexican jails definitely suck. Glad everything worked out at the end. Mexican jail sucks. Yes, it does. And I want to elaborate on that point that I made earlier. I was where I needed to be in that moment. My mindset is of such where I believe everything that happens to me, good or bad, is working for my good. I believe it all. I believe it's all working for a greater good. It's working for my benefit. And I needed those 2 days. It was 2 days of rest. Now, yeah, although I'm sick after coming out of jail, I needed those 2 days by myself. I mean, I was in that jail cell about 8 foot by 8 foot. I was in there about 23 and a half hours each day, because they don't let you out. The only time I was coming out of that jail was to go see the public defender or to go fill out some paperwork. But I was in that camp 23 and a half hours all the time, the whole time, them days I was there. And there was nowhere you can go, nothing you can do. There was no TV. It was just a concrete bed inside the cell. And most of the other guys around me, they would sleep most of the day, because that was the only way you could pass time, by trying to go to sleep and hoping you can go to sleep, so that when you woke up, 6 hours done passed. And then after you done slept for 6 hours, you're trying to go back to sleep, hoping you get another 6 hours and another 6 hours. But of course, it didn't work that way. So I got time to myself. I had time to think, focus, reassess some things, ask myself some tough questions. Because when you sit up in there by yourself with just you and your thoughts, it can be a scary place. You know what I mean? So I was where I needed to be. I have no regrets about where I was. I have no, I genuinely don't. I was where I needed to be, and whatever the circumstances are that happened, this video needed to be created to prevent from somebody else from having to go through these procedures that I had to go through. Again, it's all working for my good, and that's how I look at life. I look at life that way, and I'm a strong believer in that. We are our thoughts. We attract what we think about. We attract what we believe. Whatever our thoughts and mind is focused on, that's what we bring into our reality. That's what we bring into our world. If our thoughts are totally focused on the fact that, race or this is happening to me, or because I'm black, that will be all I see. I will see the wrong in everything. You know what I mean? But I just don't see life. I just don't see it that way. Things happen, but I choose not to focus on certain thoughts, because it will mess you up. I mean, our thoughts can change everything in an instant. I remember, I have ADD, to like the 10th power. And my children, and I don't know how this will affect them as they become adults. Um, but it's always been difficult for me to stay put in one place. And I have to constantly be moving around. I have to constantly be on the go. And that's why I struggled in the Air Force. Routine, it messes me up. It physically makes me sick. So I had a point. I don't forgot my point that quick. What you looking at? I had a point. But anyhow, I'll go back to the mind. That's what I was talking about. So we bounce around a lot. So when I made the decision, because moving to Mexico was made with a decision. Well, I'll rephrase that because I wasn't trying to move to Mexico. I was trying to move to Colombia, South America. I woke up one day and said, in 2 weeks, I'm leaving. I'm going to Colombia. I'm going to find a house. I'll work out all the details on how this is going to work. Because at the time, my wife and I, we were separated. I was like, I'll work out the details when I get there. I'll figure out how we're going to get these kids and how, if I got to travel back and forth every 2 weeks to America to see the kids, that's what I'll do. I'll sort it all out. But for now, I'm going. I'm moving forward. I'm making a decision to go, and I'm just going to trust that everything else work out in the process. And that's what happened. You know what I mean? So decisions and what we focus on, we got to focus on the thing that's most important. We can't be focused on this other stuff that cause distraction, because it's easy to get distracted and thrown off track, thrown off your focus, thrown off your goals if you're distracted by what's happening in the media, if you're distracted on what everybody else is saying. You got to get a narrow focus and go all the way in. But I'm going to stop there. I don't want to get nobody mad. How do we find out their laws and customs? That's a good question. I'm going to actually write this one down. Hold on, Black League. I'm going to get you up in just a moment. How do we find out their laws? I'm going to, because I started looking to find out what some of the local laws and stuff. I mean, the laws, of course, that's what I'm going to do. I made a note here. I'm going to put this up somewhere. And when I get some more information on this, I will share this because I'm also looking for the same thing right now. Hey, Black League, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great, man. How are you?
Doing well. What's your first name?
Black League.
Black League. All right. What can I do for you?
Hey, man, I've been watching your channel for a long time. Since you were doing T-shirts, stuff like that, Colombia, you're doing a good job, and just want to commend you on that.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Appreciate the kind words.
And also a question for Mexico. Do you know anything about like the dental services, dental care over there?
I don't know personally. However, I went down with a young lady who went to have her tooth pulled, and I recorded it. It's on my YouTube channel as well. And I'm currently in the process of scheduling an appointment to get some root canals done, 2 of them. So I do know that it's extremely affordable, and many of the doctors here that have their license, many of them have went to school in the US to become dentists. So a lot of people come here to get dental work done. So that I know for sure.
All right. Including Merida?
Correct. Absolutely. Plenty have come here to Merida. In fact, from my understanding and research, it tends to be cheaper here because there's a part of the United States that rides on the Arizona border where people can cross over. I think there's like, I forget the name of the border town, but when they cross over the border, it's like a 30-minute drive from the Arizona border. It's still cheaper there, but it's significantly cheaper here the further out of Mexico that you get. Because up there near the border, they know Americans are the ones crossing over, and so they can still charge a little more, and it still be cheaper than what one would pay in the United States. So so just to give you an example, when I got a quote for getting a root canal, my cost for getting a root canal on the low end is going to run me about anywhere from $200 to $300. That includes them pulling out the teeth and giving me a crown. The only thing that makes the crown go up from the $300 depends on what type of crown I get, whether I get the porcelain crown or the zirconium crown. So that, but $200 to $300 is my quote that I got to get a root canal and crown here in Merida.
Oh wow! I think it's over 3 times that and over here.
Oh, definitely, because they wanted to charge me about $1,800 for one root canal and crown in Greenville, South Carolina, and I needed 2 of them. So I was looking at right about $4,000 to get that here. Wow. I can get both of them done here right at $500 to $600.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yes, yes. So it's very affordable. The young lady I went down to the dentist with, they pulled a tooth, and I mean, we recorded it. It's on the YouTube channel. We recorded it. The doctor was real nice. In fact, that's the same doctor I'm going to use to go get my root canal and crown done. Well, one of his partners in the same practice that do root canals. But I'm going to the same place she did. And but yeah, the prices are real. I mean, the prices are real. The quality of service. I met a young lady the other day who, a lot of people get this gastric surgery and they have this excess skin from the weight loss. She went and had the surgery here, got all that excess skin removed. Super cheap, literally 15 times cheaper than what she was going to pay for in the United States. And she's completely satisfied with the service she got.
Wow. That's amazing. Well,
Absolutely.
thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Like always, you always, give us valuable information. That's why I subscribe to your channel.
Thank you so much. Well, I appreciate your support. Thanks for the kind words, and like always, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to post comments, and we'll be glad to help you out best we can.
And what's the best email to get in touch with you? Is it the Move Abroad and Thrive?
Yeah, either one of those. So support at moveabroadandthrive.com or cartest@cartestross.com.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Black Lead. All righty. Good question. If y'all have any questions, I posted the link down there below again. Click on that. I'll bring you up. Questions, or if you wish to share any of your experiences, doesn't have to necessarily be about Mexico. Any other part of the world that you're at, feel free to come up. And again, the medical care here is top notch. I mean, I'm close to 2 hospitals that are practically brand new, state of the art. I'm trying to talk to one of their HR people, PR people, I'm sorry, to get a tour of the hospital, and they're pretty much saying that won't happen before Christmas. I'll have to wait till maybe after the new year. So I'll, once I can get that, I'll have some healthcare professionals that can actually talk to you about the services that they provide. The state-of-the-art hospitals, robotic services, and all sorts of things. The healthcare here is very affordable. Merida, in terms of medical tourism, quite a few people come here specifically for medical work, whether it's plastic surgery, dental cosmetics work, surgery. A lot of folks come here for heart procedures, spinal procedures, and all sorts of things. So if you're coming here to visit and you need some medical work done, coordinate that, before you get here. So that way, while you're here, you might want to take advantage of the cheaper costs. Because again, root canal, them jokers talking about 1,800, 2,000 US dollars to do one root canal. It would crown. You know what I mean? But here, I can get it for $300. Come on, man. The root canal and the crown, if I want to spend more money and get the best type of crown, I mean, it's $500 with the root canal and the crown. On the high end, 500. So it's real, man. It's real. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to post them down below. So glad you are part of our community. I am thankful and grateful as well. Thank you, Susan. Yeah, and this is Fatima, and I agree with you. Maybe this old lady had experienced some trauma, some traumatic incident before, and just assumed the worst. And that's why I keep coming back to grace. I give her grace because I don't know what the heck happened. She could have lost a child. Maybe one of the children were violated, or perhaps she was violated as a child. I don't know. And I assume nothing. But most folks wouldn't react in that manner. And I don't know why she did. But I'm willing to extend her the grace and, it just chalk it up to, hey, I don't know why, but there's a reason why. And all I know is I was where I needed to be. And I keep coming back to. You know what I mean? Blah, blah, blah. Puppy question. Somebody had a puppy question. I think that was, matter of fact, that was the first young lady we had. Are you able to come on up here, Mo, about the puppy question? Miss Mo, are you present? Are you able to click on that link in the comment? I'm gonna keep scrolling through if Mo can get on. Look like a lot of folks, quite a few folks got questions about dogs. And regarding banks, when you get ready to come here, if you get ready to come here, make sure you contact your bank and let them know that you're going to be in Mexico. Otherwise, once you get here and attempt to use your ATM card at a restaurant or stop at a gas station to get some gas, your card will decline and it won't work. You don't want to get caught up in a restaurant without any cash, not able to pay your bill because your card declined. So make sure you always let your bank know that you are arriving to a destination if it's going to be outside of the U.S. Miss Melanin in Asia, I'm glad you're safe and well. I watched your last vlog. Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was kind of nerve-wracking in the beginning. I couldn't do any jail time. I'm vegan and OCD. Yeah, man. Somebody asked me about that the other day. They were like, "What if you vegan?" Well, if you want to live, you ain't gonna be vegan when you come out of there. Well, at least while you in there, you're gonna have to eat that sandwich because that's all they had. Unless of course somebody brought you food to the jail. But if you don't have that, you're gonna starve. You know what I'm saying? Because I would never ever drink no water behind some strangers, especially one that's just hacking it up and spitting. And but I had to drink that water. I was thirsty. What area is safe for a single black female? Now I'm in Merida, and I'll say this: every part of Merida that I've been in, I felt 100% safe in. There are single black females, and just single females in general living all over Merida on their own, and some with children. And I haven't heard of any complaints. Some live behind these big walls with security gates, and some live out in the country in the suburbs where there are no gates and security. You know what I mean? The crime in this area in Merida in general is just low. Um, Now, if you wanted to be near uh, other expats per se, um, I would say anywhere in the north. When I say the north of Central, which Central is like downtown, north of Central, I think you'll be pretty safe. I live in Mates de Ame, and I'll put that in the comments just so see what I'm saying. Mates de Ame. I'm gonna put a few places in here. San Ramon, Mate Mayo, Aliman, what else? Mate Cristo. I'm just putting down some of these colonias. So those that I just posted in the comments, I mean, any of those areas, you're going to be fine. Alta Brisa, Jardines del Norte, Jardines del Norte, Colonia, Mexico, and Colonia Maya. So any of those areas are fine. I would live in any of those any day. My daughter is looking to come up here, my 19-year-old, and she was asking about how affordable it was to live here. And of course, she wants her own place. And those cities that I listed there are any places I would have her living in without any problems. And Sharon asked a good question. The comment has been, it's been asked a couple of times that the easier thing to do would have been to walk over to the lady and maybe offer her some compensation, just to make it go away. And so Sharon asked, why offer money? I disagree. I get it. I understand. I guess as the individual, you have to ask yourself, because the lady, for whatever reason, while she was there on the scene, she was making it clear she wanted to press charges and she wanted to file a lawsuit. So the last part of her statement, I want to file a lawsuit, we'll probably suggest, I guess she felt she could be compensated for the violation. I don't know how much she thought she could get, but if I felt $100 which is a lot of money, $100 is a little equivalent to about 2,000 pesos here, is a lot of money. If 2,000 pesos would have got me out of it, I would have paid the 2,000 pesos in a heartbeat. Just stay out of jail. You know what I'm saying? And you mark it up to a lesson learned. $100 for a lesson learned, I would have done it. But I gotta do was, feel what, go where your conscience leads you. You know what I mean? I do understand why many probably won't pay. Because now you start to open up the door to people learning about, hey, these folks will offer you money if such and such happened. You put yourself in a position where you open yourself up to being a target. So I get it. But for me, if it spent 2 days over there in that jail, I'll pay them $100 in a minute. Let's see. I've heard so much about Merida, and I plan to visit from Southern California. This is from Jock. Any idea about a good and safe Airbnb apartment for 3 months? I just posted some areas in the comments below. any Airbnb in those areas are going to be fine. And quite honestly, any Airbnb in anywhere in Merida, for the most part, is going to be fine. Whether you're going to stay on the north side or if you're going to stay in central, like that really comes down to the bottom line. What side do you want to stay down in the downtown area, where traditional like downtown, any downtown area in the U.S., but these are older colonial style buildings, a brick. I call it a brick city because everything is made out of concrete. When you live in the north, it tends to be more like home, like cities in the United States, more modern, more up to date, more modern amenities. I prefer the north. So if you're gonna do Airbnb, I mean, there's not one particular Airbnb that I recommend at all. Again, I would primarily look at the area you want to be in. Any place in Monte Bay, the main thing you really want to do, you're kind of gonna have to be looking at a map and looking at Airbnb listings at the same time, because if you don't have a car, you definitely want to be in an area that's walkable, where you can walk out your front door and walk to the grocery store in 5 minutes or even 10 minutes. You want to be able to walk down to the convenience store and pick up little odds and ends, pay a bill or whatever. So so anywhere is good, but just make sure that the area is walkable. So anywhere on the northern side, or in central, other part, there's some popular areas in central that many expats stay in. Just kind of dig around and just find those areas. So it's really all about what your goals are once you arrive. From Fatima, just to clarify, Delta Airlines got the best pet policy, not referring to Delta variant. So, that's a tip, y'all. Check out Delta Airlines if you have some pets here. You're trying to bring pets here, and do the research. Again, I'm gonna find somebody. I'm gonna get somebody to come up one day and we talk about pets. So a lot of people do come here with their pets. Hey Ross, the first thing my mother-in-law said was I wouldn't never go back to Mexico because of the corrupt police. The people are good though. I mean, police corruption, I hear it's pretty bad in other parts of Mexico, but even in the US, man, we got corruption in the police departments all over the US. I'm not gonna say that it runs rampant, because you always have them few folks that make it bad for everybody, give everybody a bad name. In the U.S., you have lots of folks, a lot of cops that plant drugs on folks, plant evidence. You got people going to jail on death row, getting killed on death row, down that they find out that we're innocent. People are being released in droves now in the U.S. from crimes that they're now proving that they didn't do it from DNA. There was just a man that was just released from jail. I think he was there for 25 years the other day in the U.S. So, Mexico ain't the only place that have corruption. Police is corruption everywhere. Where I'm at here in Merida, all I know is they tried to talk that lady down, and it was very pleasant to me. I heard all kinds of stories that when you put your money up in the jail, they take your money. You won't have. I got all my money back. You know what I'm saying? So I see the police every day. Not one incident with them folks. They generally wave. I was riding down the street the other day. The lady car broke down, tire got flat. The cop was out there changing her tire. That's what the police do here. They change your tire. Your car break down, they changing your tire. You were on the ground changing the tire. That's the norm. Remember I was talking about the norm? We got to take the good and the bad that come along with it. We can't just jump ship when things go bad. We got to take the bad along with all the good that we get. You know what I mean? So yeah, police may not be up to par and up to, like some of other places that we think they are, but they out here changing tires. Where they gonna change your tire in the United States if you get a flat tire? Them jokers, if your car die on the side of the road, they jump in your car off. I saw a policeman helping a guy push his car to get it jump started. That's what they do here. Charge a car, everything. So it ain't so bad. A tip from Just Fatima: please learn from my mistake. Don't book Airbnb for more than 1 or 2 weeks until you see the place first. I agree with that 100%, because sometimes you get to the Airbnb, the internet ain't working right. You might have bug problems, you might have ant problems. You might find yourself in an isolated area where there's no shopping. So definitely investigate it. The furniture might be uncomfortable. And now you're locked up in there for 90 days and you're in trouble. Why did you choose Merida over Medellin? And I've addressed this a few times. I initially moved to Colombia to find a place there. There were a bunch of riots. They had a day of protest that was only supposed to last a day, and then it turned into months of rioting. And at the same time, we were dealing with the quarantine, so everything was closed and locked down. And so I made the decision to come to Mexico. And the idea was when things calmed down, I would go back to Colombia when things calmed down. But once I arrived here, I was like, man, a few more English speakers. They seem to understand more of what I'm saying when I'm talking in Spanish than they do it in Colombia. I felt more at peace, felt more safe. Although I felt safe in Colombia, I felt more safe here. I could take out my phone. Look, woman, I'm in here recording. Stop telling me to shh. You know I'm up in here. All these problems. You know what I'm saying? So anyhow, look, you distracted my thoughts. Anyhow, I would be out recording on my phone, and folk would walk by and say, "Put your phone up. If somebody gonna steal it from you, you're gonna get robbed." And I'd be out with my laptop. Folk would say, "Man, what are you doing out here with the laptop? You're making yourself a target. Go, put that up." I can do all those things here and not worry about anything. You know what I mean? So the overall safety factor is much better. I didn't have any concern with my kids walking out and going to where they needed to go while I was in Colombia. None whatsoever, because of the area we was in. I feel even more confident and comfortable about where they're going here. Now, I'm not in no way suggesting that Colombia is dangerous or worse or bad, because again, my plan was to go there and live, but I found this to be better for us. I do plan at some point to buy property in Colombia as part of a long-term investment strategy. It's something to leave behind for my kids, because it is a place that I like. So it is still on the table. It's not anything that's gone away. You get stone bread. How could I get dental services in Mexico? Well, when you're here, you just, same thing you do in the United States. Type in dentist. Well, it'll probably come up in Spanish, but best thing to do is post a link in some of the local Facebook groups that cater to Merida, and many of the people in the side of groups will give you some recommendations based on their experiences. That's probably the simplest way, because if you do a Google search, it's going to bring up the listings in Spanish, which is fine. Grab those, and if you do wish to contact dentists here, download the WhatsApp. WhatsApp is the way most businesses communicate with consumers and with each other. So generally, if the phone number is on the web page, send a message via WhatsApp, and that way you can type and communicate via WhatsApp, schedule your appointment. You won't even have to pick up the phone and talk. You can schedule all of that through WhatsApp, which is like a texting app, and book an appointment, get quotes, see what the costs are, and all of that stuff. And if y'all have any questions, post, click on that link below. I'll bring you up. Are you a resident now? I got a 60-day visa and wondering how to extend that. So right now, I am not a resident. In fact, my visa, my tourist visa, I got a 60-day, not a 60-day, I got a 6-month tourist visa, which expires next week. So I am going down to immigration next week, me and another young lady, and I'm going to pay, I think it's going to cost me $200 to get a 6-month extension going to Campeche. I'm going to get a 6-month extension, and I'm hoping that within those 6 months that some of the rules on getting a residency change. It's anticipated that some of the rules are going to be modified and updated in the new year, whereby if all goes well, I will be able to qualify for a 4-year residency without having to show any income verification and without having to show any, what's the other word, employment income verification and something else. So that's what I'm holding out for, which is one of the reasons why we're not leaving to go home for Christmas, because they have cracked down a little bit on the rules on how much time they give you. I didn't want to leave the country and risk only getting 30 days or 60 days. So when we go get this extension next week, I'll have another 6 months, and we'll stay put during those 6 months, and hopefully 3 or 4 months into the new year, I'll be able to work on getting that 4-year residency without having to leave the country. Then once I get the residency thing done, then I'm more flexible than leaving. But for now, just staying put. So next week, so I'll be able to give you more information on that, because next week I will have already done the process. I'm paying an attorney 500 pesos, which is about the equivalent of about 25 bucks, to fill out the paperwork for us, just to make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, so that it doesn't get rejected when we get to the immigration. Hope that helps. Have you noticed the big difference in the meat you eat in Mexico versus the meat you ate in America? Oh, definitely, absolutely. Significant difference. Even when I buy the meat, the quality of the meat is night and day. You can just look at it and just tell it is much, much fresher. And hold on 1 second. Hey, you didn't lock the door downstairs, did you? I unlocked it so that Charlie could get in. Did you lock it? Huh? I've noticed a major difference in the meat. Haley, 1 second. Haley. 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 You can make sure that door locked. Charlie be coming out of school. I noticed a major difference in the meat and the taste and the quality. In fact, my daughter had some skin conditions. She was seen a dermatologist when we were in the United States for skin. And I noticed that since we've been here, matter of fact, second month in, second or third month in, I was looking, I remembered, I'm like, oh, we gotta get you back on your dermatologist. But then we noticed her skin was already clearing up, and it was like, dang, no need to go see no dermatologist. And then we started connecting the dots. It was like, is the food drastically that different? Because that's the only thing that changed. You know what I mean? So yes, I have noticed a significant difference in the meat. Um, I've noticed a significant difference just in everything, and really everything that we consume. The vegetables, the fruits, all the vegetables, all all the fruit that we be eating, they got seeds in them. Matter of fact, I think I need to walk down the street. They got seeds in them, and it's just delicious. You know what I mean? And not only that, it's much cheaper. I go down to the market where they bring the chickens and the meat, cow, they slaughter it that morning. So it's super fresh. And then they're selling it in the market that morning and until they run out. And so I get fresh chicken, and I taste the difference. I see the difference in the meats as well. So yes, short answer is night and day. I'm gonna write that down. Help your immune system. This is a tip from Sherry Tillman. Boil fresh ginger. And fresh lemon. And local honey. That's another thing that's good, that local honey, for sure. Was there any soap in your jail? Heck no, there was no soap in that jail. There wasn't even no toilet paper in that jail. None. None. Do you have any health insurance for Mexico? I do not. I applied for some with a local insurance agent. It was denied because due to previous health conditions. So they declined me. I have a few other folks who applied through the same lady, through the same agent, who were approved. So it seems like just like in the United States, if you have pre-existing health conditions, it can come back to haunt you, even here. Exploring with Bella Noche. Will you ever give us some home tours of those colonial mansions there in Merida? Absolutely. In fact, I was recently told about one that they do on the weekends. I most likely will attend one of those, and I will definitely have my camera with me. And if y'all have any comments or questions, feel free to click on that link to get on the. I'll be glad to bring you on to address any questions or any advice that you have. Also, if you're finding our content helpful or useful, feel free to consider making a donation, Cash App, $ Cartes Ross, and even if it's just $1, it all helps. Nikki Crawford says, this is in relation to booking an Airbnb, book a hotel the first week. I agree with that as well. When I got here, I stayed in Marriott Courtyard in Central. And then I stayed a few weeks up in the Marriott Residency in the North. While I enjoyed being in Central, I ended up liking the North much better. And I eventually moved and got my house in the North. So plus if you start looking at these maps and stuff, because Airbnb have maps that already show you proximity of where the house is at or the apartment. You can at least go visit if you're staying in a hotel. When you're doing your research on Airbnbs, you can go visit the area. So, so that's definitely an alternative to do that. So you can decide which area you want to be in. Thank you, Nikki. Hope you're doing well. I was initially. So Raphael wants to know, I'm a fisherman. Are there places to fish? Oh, absolutely. Man, I've been going fishing. Matter of fact, now that you bring it up, I need to go fishing again. Matter of fact, might go fishing next week. If I feel better, I might go fishing Saturday. Yeah, there's plenty of places out here to go fishing. I've been catching trout. I caught my first fish here. Been catching big giant trout out here. They got all kinds of fish out here. Absolutely, absolutely. I got a few videos on YouTube of us, me and a couple of guys out on a fishing trip. Check it out. Check it out. It's on YouTube. It's on the YouTube channel. Move Abroad and Thrive. What attorney are you using? I'm actually in the research phase. Immigration, you're looking for an immigration attorney. Oh, okay, I know what you're talking about. Send me I don't have her information in front of me. I'm actually going up there with a friend. And send me email me, cartesross.com. And I'll get that information directly from her. We're riding up together. And we're going to stay a night in Campeche overnight, get all the paperwork done. Fortunately, the kids are minors. I don't have to bring them with me. I just have to bring their passports and their FFM cards. And so I'll have first-hand experience. So message me and I'll get that information over to you as soon as I get it from the other young lady. This message is for Kiana. ATL Money. Hi, I'm divorced and moving summer of 2022. Any info or someone that's gotten a passport for kids under 16? I hear they have to appear in person or sign a form. So there is a form. So without knowing all the specifics, is your husband willing to sign some paperwork giving you permission to take them? Let me see. Email me and I'll follow up with you a little bit more in detail, because I don't want to give you the wrong information, and I don't want to give the wrong information on here, because I had to renew some passports. It was like starting over because they were under 16 when they got their first passport, so it was like getting new passports all over again. But send me an email. I'll help you out with that directly, and we'll get it figured out. What's up, Renee? How you doing? Hoping y'all make y'all way down this way soon. I think y'all said y'all were going to Playa del Carmen. Or was that Cancun? I can't remember. Isla Mujeres. Ah, okay. Have you seen inflation hit you guys up there like it did here? You know what? I noticed that we getting more money. We're getting more pesos for the dollar. Because, for example, the house that I'm in now was going to cost me about at the normal rate that's been pretty stable since I've been here. It was going to cost me $625 a month, but I guess the value of the peso dropped, or I don't know how it worked out. I'm getting more pesos for my dollar, and so instead of the rent being $625, it's running me around $560, which is a significant savings. So it keep getting better. Now, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but it's going to last. I hope it lasts long. I'm just checking something out here real quick. But yeah, I'm hoping it's going to last, so we'll see. Thank you, Zachary, for your donation. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. Again, if y'all find this information helpful and would like to make a donation, show any type of support, I'm happy, even if it's only just $1. I use this money to pay for places that I go to, places that we eat, and I generally document and record and share those experiences. And so the more donations we collect over time, I'll start going to other places, visit other places in Mexico, and sharing the experience. Because I really want everybody to see what's out here, what's available, what's possible, what's realistic. You know what I'm saying? Because there are lots of opportunities out here. So you cash out that $ Cartes Ross. I put my name in the link below, in the comment section below. Is it true you can't flush toilet paper? I'm assuming. So yeah, that's true. You can't flush toilet paper down the toilet. So they have trash. You buy a trash can, you put it in your bathroom, and a plastic bag, of course. So you wipe your backside, fold it up, throw it in the trash with a lid on it. That seals over the trash can. So that's true. You can't flush the toilets. The piping systems are different here. So you can't flush the toilet down the paper down the toilet. It took a minute to get used to doing that, but it's the same way in Colombia. There are a lot of, and not just Latin American countries. There's some countries in Europe where it's the same thing. Generally, you can't flush the toilet paper down the toilet. If I recall, when we were in Canada, we couldn't flush the toilet paper down the toilet. And we were in Montreal at the time, I believe. But you get used to it. A lot of people have decided to buy these bidets. They have these little mini bidets that attach to your toilet, squirt up your booty, clean it out that way, and that's what some folks do. So that's the workaround if that's the issue. Again, just toilet paper is not the breaking point for me to miss out on the opportunities that are here in Mexico. I heard some landlords want you to pay in cash versus pesos. I see why now. Well, you know what? They may want you to pay in cash, but it's cash. It's cash and pesos. Nobody here is taking U.S. dollars. You know what I mean? So at least not here in Merida. Now I don't know about other parts of Mexico, but the currency here is pesos. So um, so some tenants do want to be like my tenant, my landlord. She wants to be paid in cash. She told me that up front. So each month I'll have to pull out pesos out the ATM machine because you can use your debit card, go to the ATM machine, and pull out pesos, the equivalent. So, but yeah, um, but they don't accept dollars here. I imagine they might take it if it's offered. Rod, the goddess, hey, what's up? Hello, brother. I see you a lot in the groups. Your tarantula post made me laugh. Yeah, there was when I first got to Merida the second time, 6 months ago, we moved into the first house, walked outside, saw that big old giant tarantula sitting in my driveway looking like a full-size sedan. I screamed and hollered and ran. I ran everywhere. I was like, I went and found every crack and crevice in the house and sealed them all up. Couldn't sleep that night. I was scared because I had never seen a tarantula before. Scariest thing in the world. I was like, if I had ran across that thing in the house, I would have moved out that day. But it's crazy. Those tarantulas, but I come to find they're perfectly harmless. They don't bother you. They generally are afraid of you. They generally run away. But I haven't seen any more since. Thank God. You know what I'm saying? Did they strip search you in jail? They didn't necessarily strip search me. They had me pull all my clothes off and made me squat down 3 times. I guess they were like, no, we ain't sticking our fingers up your booty. Did you pull your clothes off and squat? And so that's what I did. Yeah, they probably should be accepting U.S. dollars if they want to get that exchange rate. But yeah, so we're on the benefited side here at the moment. Regarding the toilet paper, it's the same in Asia, but I flushed the paper. I can't bear to put toilet paper in the bin. I'm breaking the rules. And I admit I broke the rules in Colombia, but toward the end, I tried to stick to them. I ain't want no trouble. A lot cheaper than $1,978 per month rent for 2 bedrooms here in Seattle. Man, that's what I'm telling folks. They got some houses out here and apartments out here that are just mind-boggling. That in great locations for significantly cheaper. I was looking at a 2-bedroom the other day that was $700. It was massive, completely furnished on the main street. It was huge. I mean, probably the biggest apartment I've seen since I've been here, and it's included internet, included gas, included water. Only thing you have to pay for was the electricity. So cost of living here is significantly cheaper. I've been in houses. I'm talking 4 bedroom houses that cost $375 a month. Literally, nice homes. So you can get a lot out here and be very comfortable and be in a wonderful area. Were there other black foreigners in that prison who were down there trying to get pom-pom? Well, keep in mind, I wasn't in the prison. I was just in the jail. But I was the only black guy in the place. It was me. That was it. I'm in Medellin now. No signs saying not to flush paper in my Airbnb. Yeah, and we didn't see it. There were no signs telling us not to. Um, Sometimes the landlord would tell us directly, and of course, if you asked, they would definitely tell you to flush it, to put it in the trash bin. And all of the bathrooms had little trash bins for putting paper. They assume most folks that are coming there know that, because again, it's one of those things that's common, just like not walking through somebody's gate. But I am surprised they don't put it in the notes. But some of the other places I went to when I was traveling throughout Colombia, they made it pretty clear not to flush not to flush paper down the toilet. Every time I look on YouTube, I see more people moving there, hoping the influx of people will not cause the prices to rise, I'm assuming. I'm gonna tell you a secret about Merida. They come, they arrive, they show up, but most of them leave because of that heat. That heat ain't no joke. Right now, this time of year, the weather is much cooler and is much more bearable and much more tolerable. You know, right now, I mean, it's cool, but during that summer and that spring, it's a whole nother world out here. So I appreciate that heat because it keeps most folks away. People think they want to move down here, but they be gone. They be up out of here when that heat comes. Is there any difference between Mexico and Colombia? Renee asked. Let me post this before I answer that. Okay, after I answer this question, I'm probably gonna log off. So if y'all have any other questions or if somebody wants to come up with any comments or suggestions, or if you have any questions, click on that link that I just posted and I'll be glad to bring you on. So is there a difference between Mexico and Colombia? Would you say there's a difference between Mexico and Colombia?
What?
Somebody asked if there's a difference between Mexico and Colombia.
The buildings, which I like.
While she's figuring it out, I will say this.
Freedom,
Huh?
freedom just to walk up, get what you need. There's more stuff accessible.
So
It's medical, but here there are a lot of stores like Home Depot. There's a lot of department stores.
all right. So the biggest difference I would say here versus say Colombia, Mexico versus Colombia, you have a lot more of the American brand stores here versus Colombia. So here you have Home Depot, you have Costco, you have Sam's Club, you have, you typical chains, Krispy Kreme, IHOPs, Boston's, Texas Roadhouse, and stuff like that. And the infrastructure is very similar, like the highways, infrastructure is almost similar to that of the U.S. In Colombia, you don't have those type of brand stores like the Home Depots and Sam's Club and all of that stuff. Another major difference is I know, particularly in Colombia and in other parts of Colombia that I try, in Medellin and other parts of Colombia I travel to, is Colombia, they have high rises everywhere. The city goes up. There are not many high rises, at least here in Merida, and not so many high rises in Querétaro. I call it Querétaro. Querétaro is the way other people say it. There's a Walmart here as well, not in Colombia. Not in Colombia. So you got a lot more high rises in Colombia. the sky views, the views are just magnificent. So in Colombia, many places, you're wrapped around a mountain, 360 degrees around you. Anywhere you walk outside the door, there are mountains. You're just surrounded by them. You see these incredible views. You don't have that here in Mexico, at least in this part. Um, so that I would say that's the biggest difference. More English speakers here versus Colombia.
I think the food is better in Colombia.
Um,
The food is better.
Kim says she believes the food is better in Colombia. Where I'm at in the Yucatan, Merida, the food is, many people will tell you the food is not great here, but the food is better in other parts of Mexico, particularly Mexico City. I hear Mexico City just got everybody beat on the food. You know what I mean? They probably got Colombia beat on the food.
And you can drive versus Colombia.
I'm personally not impressed with the food in Colombia. Because Colombia, they from meat eating joke. They like that meat. They meat eaters over there. You know what I'm saying? So they eat a lot of meat over here too. So I'm not a meat eater like that. But
and purchase, and you can drive here, but in
here,
Colombia you cannot drive.
Also here, another thing, you could drive. I would never attempt to drive in Medellin. I wouldn't even try. I was there a full 6 months, 7 months. I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? But here I can drive and get around. Cost of living, taxis, the cost of living is slightly cheaper in Colombia. The prices are almost comparable, but I would give it to Colombia, depending on what you're into and depending on where you're at in Colombia, the price is going to be slightly cheaper there than here in Mexico. So I think those are the main differences that I see. You don't need a car in Medellin. That's what Johnny's saying. You don't need a car in Medellin. Taxis lined up everywhere. I will say taxis are not so accessible here in Mexico like they are in Colombia. You walk out the door, taxis lined up the street everywhere. You know what I mean? You ain't waiting on no taxi. They just already there in Colombia. I haven't been to, Miss Crystal asked, have you been to, see, I don't know how to pronounce this because they don't ever say the O. They say something like Hakaka, something like that. But no, I haven't been there. I've had some friends who've been there. They love the place. They say the food is excellent. But many folks who go there say they would live there, but then I hear the other half say they would live there. So I don't have any person. Oaxaca, yeah, that's how they say it. Thanks, Renee. How the hell do they get Oaxaca out of that word? You know what I'm saying? Oaxaca. I don't even understand how that's supposed to be the case. Renee is saying San Luis Potosi is supposed to be really affordable. I'll write that down and check that out. Because coming the new year, once I get this extension, we're going to kind of venture out a little more into other parts of Mexico, just to, short vacate, 2-3 day trips. Plus, since it's cheaper to fly within the country, we want to kind of explore that way too. I was like, how they get, but yeah, that's what they be saying. Every time they be saying Oaxaca, I'm like, how do they get that out of that? How they say that word with them letters in there? Hey, much obliged, much obliged. Appreciate you as always. Renee, I appreciate this guy. He's always been supportive, always reaching out, giving kind words, sharing our content with his friends and followers on Facebook. And we appreciate it. And we appreciate you, Renee. Can't wait to meet your family. Looking forward to meeting you in person. And, thank you so much. We appreciate you. What's up, Mr. Rock HD? Yeah. I posted some videos yesterday and the day before, breaking down what happened. So yeah, check them out. It was crazy, but yeah, it'll lay it all out. So, but yeah, I'm gonna definitely work on that Spanish. Thanks, Lewis, especially the diphthongs. Then it'll make diphthongs. I'm gonna write that word down. So that's it, folks. So I'm gonna go ahead and log off for today. And I hope y'all found this content helpful, useful, and and I continue to get new information about life here in Mexico or any other place living abroad. I will continue to share. In the future, I will start to bring other people on to share their expertise. I hope to have an immigration attorney on board to answer questions for y'all. Thanks, Renee. Appreciate you. The old and the it is what is that? The O and the is pronounced as wa. Ah. Thanks for breaking that down, Daryl. I appreciate that. So yeah, I plan to get some immigration attorneys on board, some real estate attorneys on board to share about the process of buying homes. I'm gonna get some folks on that talk about retirement, taxes, everything. So I got a lot of new stuff coming in the new year. We're just really getting acclimated to the new country over the last 6 months. We're finally settling our roots in, getting comfortable. So we'll start to dig in deeper and share more information. So as usual, if you found this content helpful, um, and like to make a donation, cash out me. I got the cash app in the comment section below, $, Ross. Let us know what we can do to help make the content more useful and beneficial to you. I look forward to meeting y'all. If y'all ever in town, reach out to me. We can meet up and get a drink. Thank y'all for watching. Have a wonderful day.